That's crazy.
I'm not a fan of him lyrically or acting wise.
Put hands on you, give you real black eyes. Come on, don't do that. And that's the truth. I've had about
Aries Spears.
Oh, that dude?
Yeah. He said nothing.
Is he a comedian? Yeah. Because he ain't never made me laugh, so I don't know.
You know you done crossed the line when Ice Cube, yeah, the same Ice Cube who dropped No Vaseline, one of the coldest diss tracks in history, pauses his billionaire grind just to check you. But Aries Spears, he didn't just throw shots. He went nuclear on Cube's whole name. Acting, trashed, music, trashed, legacy, straight up stomped on. It all went down on Big Boy's neighborhood. A regular convo turned wild real quick. They were just vibing, ranking rappers, swapping names like any normal hip-hop debate. But when Cube's name came up, Aries ain't blink. Dude said Ice Cube was trash as a rapper and as an actor. Total disrespect. Cube caught wind of it and fired back with heat. He clapped back saying Aries was irrelevant, not funny, and not even close to cracking the top 10 in black comedy. That's cold-blooded. Then came 50 Cent. You know 50 couldn't let this slide. He lives for these moments. Once he saw that clip, it was game over. 50 jumped in like a shark that smelled blood, clowning Aries without mercy. If there's one thing 50's gonna do, it's kick the chair out from under you when you're already wobbling. And that Ice Cube jab, that was just Aries getting started. He came in swinging, but then he dragged it to a whole new level. He straight up clowned Today Was a Good Day, one of the most legendary West Coast tracks ever made. Like, who even touches that? Total disrespect. Even Big Boy's co-host tried to laugh it off and shift the convo, but Aries, nah, he doubled down like he had something to prove. Then out of nowhere, he launched into this weird, awkward impersonation of Cube as a gynecologist. Yeah, you heard that right. And it ended with a punchline so wild the whole room went dead silent. Aries laughed, but he was the only one. Not a single chuckle from anyone else. The energy turned real weird. It wasn't just jokes anymore. This was Aries Spears going way past the line. Big Boy tried to save it, throw in a quick redirect, but Aries just kept pushing. And then, like it couldn't get any messier, he aimed at Tupac. Yep, he crossed the sacred line and disrespected the icon of the West. That's not just throwing shade, that's waving a torch in a gas leak. One fan even said, I love Aries' skills, but bro, the Ice Cube slander is a no-no. And Aries, he knew he messed up. He stared right into the camera and welcomed the fallout like it was part of the plan. And this right here, this is exactly why Aries ain't got no weight when he tries to say Cube or Pac wasn't lyrical. Let's be real. Dude sounds bitter, like he's still mad the West Coast snatched the crown from New York back in the 80s and 90s. But what Aries didn't see coming, the legends he disrespected, they actually clapped back. Usually in the industry, when a nobody talks slick, the big dogs just ignore it. Let him bark and keep it pushing. But not this time. Ice Cube responded like the icon he is. He didn't just defend himself, he demolished Aries. Cube questioned his whole existence. Is he even funny, relevant, respected in black comedy? Ouch! That wasn't just a jab. Cube basically erased Aries Spears from the game. And trust, Cube ain't some rookie out here. He's a certified legend. From penning tracks for NWA, to dropping one of the hardest diss records in history, to producing Friday and building a whole basketball league from scratch, Cube got receipts everywhere. But even after all that heat, Aries still wouldn't let it go. Like he was begging to get roasted again, he popped back up on Vlad TV like he didn't just get torched. Doubled down on all his Cube hate like he had something personal to prove. Mocking Cube once, nah, Aries wanted another round, even after legends and fans tore him apart. But here's what Aries completely missed. This wasn't even about Ice Cube anymore. Somewhere in a luxury suite, probably with a cigar and some champagne, 50 Cent was watching this whole circus unfold right on his phone. And guess what? Aries had taken a shot at him too. Folks thought 50 might brush it off, stay silent like most power players do. But now, out of nowhere, 50 drops a video. Cool, slick, passive-aggressive as ever. Didn't name names, but everyone knew who he was aiming at. It was that classic 50 Cent style. Throw a grenade, walk away smiling. Now people were asking, why did 50 even jump in? Dude's booked and busy, running shows like Power and BMF, flipping liquor brands, closing TV deals, selling out tours. So why clap back at Aries Spears of all people? Easy. What people forget is that 50 and Ice Cube go way back. There's deep respect there. Cube co-signed 50's acting hustle way before Hollywood ever gave him credit. And 50, he always gave Cube his props. Real recognize real. And Aries, he's the exact kind of dude 50 loves to roast. Loud, bitter, full of smoke, but nothing new to show for it. That's bait to 50. So he pulled up, locked and loaded, and hit him with bars. Check my temperature. I'm ice cold. The hood left, the left side of my chest froze. Need help with your bills? I'll write you a referral. You might even get you a love contract. And just like that, Aries started spiraling. Dude hopped online and went full emotional meltdown mode, blasting Cube again like he wasn't already in the danger zone. And Aries, he didn't let it go. He was clearly hurt by Cube's shots, like deep ego bruise type hurt. But instead of falling back, he kept digging his own grave. That's when the real mess began. Aries jumped back on the mic and tried to clean it up, saying, "I respect Ice Cube as a man," but then, in the same breath, said Cube's never done anything impressive. Bruh, what? That ain't just wild. It's a straight up contradiction. And fans weren't having it. They didn't drag him for having an opinion. They dragged him for being wishy-washy and playing the victim once the heat came. One comment hit hard: "You can't throw shade, then cry when someone claps back." Another said, "You can speak your mind, but after that creepy skit, you're not valid." Cube's a made man. And that's when things got real ugly. Folks started bringing up the darkest part of Aries' past, the lawsuit involving Tiffany Haddish. Yeah, that lawsuit from 2022, the one that shook the internet. They were both hit with disturbing allegations involving grooming. The sketch in question, a comedy skit where a child is left alone with a weird, unsettling adult character played by Aries. The camera zoomed in on the creepiness, the vibes, off the charts uncomfortable. Once that footage hit the net, Twitter erupted. Even the Shade Room dropped clips, and it was bad, real bad. The backlash came fast and hard. And even though the lawsuit got settled and the video was scrubbed, that stain, it never fully faded. People still remember. That damage stuck. And what did Aries do right after all that heat? He ran right back to Vlad TV like it was a therapy session, like the internet didn't already cook him alive once before. People started catching on. Aries Spears was on Vlad TV more than Vlad himself, always venting about being blackballed, always comparing himself to Kevin Hart like the industry owed him something. Fans saw the pattern clear as day. Aries wasn't grinding, he was whining. Every time his name popped up, it wasn't for a new role or a stand-up special, it was for drama. Either he was dissing legends, airing out old beefs, or dragging up personal trauma hoping folks still cared. But the spotlight, that wasn't coming from success, it was coming from scandals. And behind the scenes, his rep wasn't much better. Multiple castmates have gone on record calling Aries difficult, ego-driven, always trying to outshine everybody in the room, always doing the most. Sure, he's got talent, his impressions hit, he can read a crowd, no doubt, but he never had that moment, never got his Chappelle-level breakthrough, and that kind of quiet resentment, it eats a person up from the inside. Now flip it. Why did this whole Ice Cube beef crash and burn so hard for Aries? Simple. When you come at Ice Cube, you're not just coming at a rapper, you're coming for a pillar of the culture. Let's break that down real quick. No Vaseline, top 3 diss tracks in hip-hop history, period. Friday? That ain't just a movie, it's a cultural staple that helped define black comedy. And beyond that, Cube built an empire, music, film, sports, receipts everywhere. So when Aries came swinging with no legacy to back it up, no current wins to stand on, it wasn't a fair fight, it was a wipeout. Ice Cube didn't just drop bars, he built culture. The characters he created, iconic. From Friday to Boys in the Hood, his work became a rite of passage in hip-hop and black cinema. And the Big 3 League, Cube built a whole basketball empire from the ground up, now backed by major investors and real NBA legends. All that. And before he even hit 20, he was writing for Eazy-E, Dre, Ren, ghostwriting NWA's classic tracks while still in high school. Meanwhile, Aries Spears, his biggest cultural imprint is some Mad TV impressions and a handful of decent stand-up clips from years ago. Now he's known more for dissing legends on podcasts and going viral for all the wrong reasons. That's why fans instantly took Cube's side. No hesitation. And here comes the final twist. Cube dropped a teaser cast list for the long-awaited Final Friday movie. And guess whose name wasn't anywhere to be found? That's right, Aries Spears. Now, to be fair, nobody said Aries was ever in the running, but fans still caught the message loud and clear. The timing, way too perfect. It felt like Cube was saying, you talk a lot, but you'll never be cast where it actually matters. Aries wanted to go viral, and he did, but not for his talent, not for a comeback. He's trending because two legends labeled him a nobody, and nobody argued. Aries Spears really thought he was going to shake the culture by taking on Ice Cube, but he ended up getting ignored where it mattered most, the casting room. But instead of backing down, Aries kept pressing the gas. He doubled down on every platform that would give him a mic. Still ranting, still bitter, still trying to rewrite the narrative, like he wasn't the one who started the fire. But the streets weren't buying it. Fans clocked it immediately. Every time Aries trends, it's never for comedy, never for a new project, always some mess. And while he's online complaining about getting blackballed, Ice Cube is over here building empires. TV, film, sports, he's a boss in every lane. No complaints, no excuses, just moves. And this is where Aries slipped up again. He started bringing up old names, talking slick about other legends in the comedy space too. That's when even comedians started distancing themselves. No shout-outs, no cosigns, just silence. Because the truth is, this ain't just about Ice Cube anymore. Aries been moving bitter for a minute. You burn enough bridges, eventually no one helps you rebuild, and when you look around and realize nobody's defending you, not your peers, not your fans, not even the folks who once laughed with you, that's when you know you've officially become the punchline. And just when you thought Aries Spears might finally lay low, he popped right back up, this time trying to flip the script. Started posting cryptic clips, sharing deep thoughts, acting like he's the misunderstood genius. But let's be real, nobody's falling for that rebrand, because now the industry's watching closely, and what they see is someone who got the mic, got the moment, and fumbled it. He had a shot to spark a comeback, maybe even earn some respect back. Instead, he picked fights with legends, dropped cringy rants, and reminded everyone why he got left behind in the first place. And while Aries keeps popping up on every podcast that'll press record Ice Cube, still silent, still unbothered, still winning. That's the part that stings the most. Cube didn't even have to keep clapping back. He said what he said once, and the culture did the rest. Even 50 Cent ain't said another word. He dropped his line, cracked his joke, and moved on like a boss. Meanwhile, Aries is out here spinning in circles, chasing the same attention that keeps slipping through his fingers. And fans, they've made it clear. This ain't hate, it's exhaustion. Aries Spears ain't the villain. He's not the hero either. He's just stuck in a loop, shouting into a mic while everyone else moves forward. At this point, Aries Spears ain't just beefing with legends. He's beefing with reality. Still talking, still defending, still convinced the world just don't get it. But the truth, the world got it a long time ago, and it moved on without him. What makes this whole thing worse is Aries keeps acting like he's being silenced, like some invisible force is holding him back. But it ain't a conspiracy, it's accountability. You can't go at icons, act reckless, bring up dark past, and expect standing ovations. That's not how this works. And while Aries is trying to explain his way out of every headline, he's missing the point. People ain't waiting for explanations. They're waiting for elevation, show growth, drop heat, make moves. But instead, it's just more Vlad interviews, more recycled punchlines, and more excuses. Meanwhile, Ice Cube just announced a new project. 50 Cent, still dropping hits, still stacking wins. They're in the fast lane while Aries is stuck in park, yelling out the window, hoping someone looks back, but nobody's looking anymore. And that's the biggest L, not being hated, but being ignored. Because in this game, once the culture decides you're not part of the convo, that silence hits harder than any diss ever could. So now the smoke has cleared, and what's left? Aries Spears, standing in the ashes of a career he torched himself, went at Ice Cube, poked at 50 Cent, and tried to play victim when it all backfired. No major roles, no cultural legacy, just clips and controversy. Meanwhile, Cube's still a mogul, 50's still a power player. And Aries, he's just another headline, not for killing the stage, but for getting clowned by kings. He wanted attention, he got it. But it came with receipts, reputation hits, and no redemption arc in sight. And this is what happens when you bark at legends without a crown of your own. Want to keep up with more real hip-hop drama, the unfiltered truths and wild industry exposes? Subscribe to BarzBuzz, where we break it down, no filters, no fluff. Drop a comment, hit that like button, And tell us, did Aries ever stand a chance? Because at BarzBuzz, we say what the streets are already thinking.